What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Bullish Chips, where we use a proven and repeatable strategy to make money every day. This channel happens to focus on the Bullish Semiconductor ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol SOXL, but the charting and trading method we use can be implemented when trading any company that's traded in the U.S. stock market. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy this video. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks again to all those that continue to tune in. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe and notification buttons. That way you're alerted when we release our bonus content. The nightly and weekend videos, like tonight's video, we focus mostly on identifying triggers and targets for trades ranging from intraday and like scalp and intraday trades to long-term and swings and leaps as well. But if you want a deeper dive into how we set up our charts, the color coding we use for the different time frames, the levels we use, broadening formations, things like that, make sure you check out that bonus content. And for more information about the strat, which is just the base of our charting method, you can find more information in the description of this video. So I encourage you to watch the full video, because not just the triggers and targets, but we get some good insight on all time frames. So let's take a look at the agenda for today. We'll go ahead and recap today's price action and then zoom out like we always do and look at the week, month, quarter, and year. Then we'll zoom back in, look at the 4-hour markers and the triggers and targets for Tuesday, as well as a review of the triggers and targets for the week, month, quarter, and year. All right, so just looking at today's intraday price action, again, another flat day. Right, we've been doing gone about 2 weeks now where we have the gap up and go sideways. I think there was one day where we had a trending day, but for the most part over the last 2 weeks we've been going sideways intraday. So not a whole lot to go off of as far as the scalping is concerned. Pretty tight range today, but we did capitalize on the downside in the morning. After that, just basically watch the charts because nothing else was triggering that appealed to us from a risk to reward perspective. So you can see we have the 4-hour markers on the chart. At the very top is the overnight high at 50.28. Just below that is the previous high day at 49.99. Then we've got the overnight low down here at 47.61, and we've got the previous low day at the bottom of the chart at 46.71. Just a couple of levels to mention as well. This 47.95, that's the 50% of last week. And then also down here at 46.79, that's the 50% of last year. So we want to take and make sure that we keep an eye on those. They should serve as pretty good support points for us. And we talk about weekly, basically, how the 50-day the 50% line of the previous week is normally tested at some point or other throughout the week, unless we're just running off to the races. But if we've got any type of back and forth action during the week, the 50% line is tested whether it's from the top or the downside, right? So in this case, we're approaching from the top, and it should be support. But we know if we do break down through that 50% line, we probably got more of a bearish outlook for the near future. Next day and a half, next day or two, maybe throughout the week. So we just want to see how we react when we get to that level. So we did take the lower high on the 5-minute. This was kind of a soft lower high, so we stayed in it just because we were still all right with risk to reward and not close to stopping out. So we did get a more solid lower high here and the push down to the 50% line. Once we got the bounce, we went ahead and exited, knowing that the 50% line was probably going to be a good level of support. We're in the middle of the previous day, basically, so don't want to deal with a bunch of chop from there. Just go ahead and take our money because, like we said, the last 2 weeks or so, we've been getting a lot of sideways action intraday, so no need to sit in anything, especially if you've got contracts for that expire the current week. Then you're starting to let theta eat away at them the longer you just sit and watch it go sideways. So just went ahead and took our profit there. We watched for upside opportunities, but as you can see, we just moved sideways and nothing really triggered. So that's all we really got from the intraday perspective. Now, we did stay below the opening print, so we closed the day red and technically closed the week red because this is the first day of the week. So those two are going to mirror each other. We can see from the 4-hour chart, we got almost got a 1-2 up, 2 down which would then have a magnitude of the low of the candle to the left of the 1 being this 3, which again coincides with last year's 50% line. So we did get the 1. I don't want to call this a failed 2-up. It did finish red, but it was more of a hammer than an inverted hammer. Just kind of like a fat doji, I would say. Just undecided action basically. But the bears did have somewhat of an edge, and then it did continue into the second 4-hour candle of the day, but not with any real momentum, and closed an inside candle. So the opportunity for the 1-2 up combo 2 down is still on the board, which would then target this 46.79 level, but we could end up reversing and get the 2-1-2 up to continue back to the upside. So the 4-hour is going to probably be our key here. And even if we do go 2-1-2 up, reversal on the first 4-hour candle of tomorrow, we've got to still watch for the 1-2 up, 2 down on the second 4-hour candle, which, again, just chop, right? And if we look at things, let's try and make this big enough for everyone to see, even on the phone, but we can see, no, it's not going to really do. Let's go to the day chart. And let's just bring up something a little more clear. All right, we can see that. Oh, think or swim. There we go. We can see we have our first bull flag, right? This was from the April 7 low to the July high, right? So we've got our flagpole here and the flag that then pushed up into essentially another bull flag, right? It didn't last as long, but we've got the flagpole here, sideways action, and now we've got the pop from there as well. So could we see, maybe a smaller flagpole this time? The flagpole did get a little bit smaller on this one, maybe even a smaller flagpole here, and then some more sideways action for a flag. And at that point, we've got to just kind of monitor, make sure that we're not doing anything to start to roll over, respecting these 2 weekly broadening formations here. Respectively, we've poked through them, but we're not clear of them, right? We don't have any major, high or low on like even the day chart above these yet to show that we've cleared the weekly broadening formation. But I just wanted to kind of bring that up, how we could be forming another flag here, right? So it would be, kind of you don't see as much pole here because we have the 2 gaps, but basically if you can imagine a pole here and a flag here, just a smaller bull flag. But at the same time, like I said, we gotta watch for anything rolling over. From the day perspective, it was, again, not so much a failed 2 up from the standpoint that we had an inverted hammer or some, I guess that is kind of a solid solid red candle, but it did poke 2 up. So we are on the lookout tomorrow for the 3-2 up, 2 down, which again, the magnitude would be the low of this 3 here. Let me go ahead and make this bigger for those on phone. If we're just looking here, kind of zoomed in the last few days, last week, you can see today was this 2 up, but we had the red 3, red 2 up. So be on the lookout for tomorrow for the 3-2 up, 2 down. Not a whole lot of magnitude, but it could start, some momentum to push back down to these gaps that we've left from early last week. All right, so nothing overly bearish, but definitely not bullish, or not overly bullish, I would say at this time. Just neutral, right? We're moving sideways with the opportunity to push down. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit more and look at the week. Again, we are above these 2 weekly broadening formations, but nothing major as far as like a higher low on the day time frame to show that we're getting a bounce and totally clearing these. So these are still in play. Could get pulled back down. If the last year's 50% line doesn't act as support, that we fall back through. We're looking at clearing, filling these gaps here and coming back in here into the fib extensions for that from that bull flag in April to July. All right, so again, nothing crazy. Starting the week out inside, slightly red, nothing major. Right now, if we pull down and get this 2 down, triggering the 2 up, 2 down, we got to look for the magnitude of that move to be down here. So obviously those gaps will be filled. We'd be testing last quarter's high. But again, even if that happens, it's not the end of the world, because look at all this room that we have to put in a higher low, right? So we can get all the way down to 2350 area before we're creating a lower low. So A healthy pullback is perfectly fine. At that point, you look to capitalize off of some puts, swing a couple puts maybe for a week or so with the longer dated expiration. December expiration, November monthly, something like that. Give yourself a little bit of freedom, wiggle room to let them sit if in case we don't just do the elevator down drop and we have a more orderly drop down. It gives you a little bit of time, but if we do get that elevator drop, you're already in it. So just be on the lookout for that 2 down on the week. But until then, still very neutral. On the month, we're looking pretty bullish still. Opened up inside, but right at the top. Right at the top of last month's price action. So don't need to go too far to go 2 up on the month. And if we do, we're just continuing this V-shaped recovery, targeting this 70.08 all the way up here. So got the gap up here to give us some, to act as kind of a magnet, but we do got to watch out for this monthly broadening formation that we've got coming through here that does run into these higher fib extensions as well. So don't get too gung-ho over about getting to 70.08 just yet, but it is on the table, right? The quarter, again, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that this is one of our more the charts we're more bullish on, just because we've got this one combo 2 down, combo 2 up that triggered, and as long as we're above this 36.15, then we're targeting the high of this 3, which is the candle to the left of the 1, and again, that's that 70.08. So looking good to the upside on the quarter and the year. Still looking great. We've turned around the 1, 2 up, 2 down, making the higher low. At least so far, as long as we close without going below the 621, we've got the higher low, and we're looking real good to have a good possibility of going 2 down and then 2 up in 2026 with the magnitude of that 70.08. So that's what we got from the zoomed out view. Again, if you're familiar with the channel, you know how those go, and it's more of the day-to-day and intraday that's making changes. But overall, from the long-term perspective, everything is still looking good. Oops, it's not the chart we want. Scalp tomorrow. There we go. So let's go ahead and zoom back in and take a look at what things will look like tomorrow from a scalping perspective first. Let's get everything on the board here. All right, so we can see. Let's stretch things out a bit. Here's yesterday or Monday's close, but on the chart we've got up at the top here the previous high a day, then overnight high as of right now 48.82. That should move by the time the market opens, or it could move by the time the market opens. Overnight low 48.37. Again, that can move before market opens, but we do have previous low day at 48.03 down here at the bottom of the chart, which is not going to move, and that's just slightly above that 47.95, which is last week's 50% line. Again, with the honorable mention here, we've got the week and month flip, which again, same thing, just because this is the start of a new week, which is also the start of a new month. So as long as we're below 49.49, the week and the month are red. And if you take a look at the upper left-hand part of the chart here, we've got the time frame continuity here, and we've got the day, the week, and the month. We're all red today. So because it's a new day, a new week, and a new month, they're all going to mirror each other. But anyways, general rule. If you're not familiar with this channel, we're looking for higher lows at or above opening print to get into calls, and we're looking for lower highs at or below opening print to get into puts. So what that means is, let's just say that overnight high ends up being here, and overnight low stays where it's at. If we get an open, say we get it right here in the middle of overnight price action, right? 48.83 is our opening print. Then we want to watch price action. If it opens here and we push up, and then say we reject off an overnight high and we pull back down, but we get a higher low at or above this opening print level, then we want to get into calls. First target being overnight high, second target being previous high a day, right? And in reverse, if we open price here and we push down, say we bounce off an overnight low and we come back up and we make a lower high at or underneath the opening print, then we want to get into puts. First target being overnight low, second target being previous low a day, right? So those are just for scalps, usually for the earlier part of the morning when the market is first opening. It kind of gives you a little edge in getting into a move early on. But you want to definitely follow your rules. Make sure, if higher highs or lower lows are being violated in the opposite direction of your contract, you're cutting quick, and, again, just smart trading, risk to reward. But in general, you should have some pretty good success if you're getting calls with higher lows at or above opening print, or if you're getting puts at or below opening print. All right, that's enough from the scalping perspective. Let's look at a more of an intraday perspective here. Let's bring up our chart, and if we're looking at the 4-hour, kind of got a lot going on up here. We're up in the region where we've got a couple of broadening formations on the week perspective. Again, it's a new month, a new week, so we can see the last month's high is right here, this green level at 50.76, which is also last week's high. And we can see we're contained inside. We talked about earlier how on the 4-hour we have the opportunity to continue this this 1-2 up combo 2 down, right? And if we get that, if price action in the first 4-hour candle of Tuesday goes below the second 4-hour candle of Monday, that goes ahead and triggers that 1-2 up combo 2 down. Well, at least it triggers a 2-1-2 down. And if you get that and it reaches magnitude, then we're triggering the 1-2 up combo 2 down. And again, the magnitude for a 1-2 up 2 down is the low of the candle to the left of the 1. So here's your 1, and the candle to the left of it is this 3, which is basically the same low. So if we do get that, 46.79 again, it's going to be tested. Last year's 50% line, again, it should act as some pretty good support for us, but we've got some weekly broadening formations we're still dealing with. So at least even if momentarily, just for the day or tomorrow or the week, whatever, this may not, if this doesn't act as support, so we go and fill these gaps, that could be the case. But definitely watch this as a possible bounce point if we reach this price on Tuesday. To the upside, we would have a 2-1-2 up reversal like we talked about earlier. Magnitude would be the high of this 2, but again, we do need to watch out for the second 4-hour candle on Tuesday in case we get this 1-2 up 2 down, right? Then we're targeting the low of this 2 to the left of the 1. So just keep us in basically a chop zone. Don't want to get chopped up. Don't want to get don't want to take paper cuts, a bunch of small losses trying to grab scalps in that chop zone. Might as well just let it resolve itself and wait for a better trigger. All right. Now from the day perspective, we are set up for a 3-2 up 2 down possibly. Again, let me get a cleaner chart out here. Oops. We've got the 3 and then the 2 up from today, red 2 up. So if we do get price action below Monday's low, watching for the magnitude of this move to be the low of the 3, which again into that 46.79. And because these magnitudes on different time frames are all terminating around this level, that's why I'm looking at it as being some possible support along with the uptrend that we're in. So I'm looking for it to probably bounce there. But if it doesn't, then now we can really start to change our tone. That's giving us a lower high on the day perspective here, right? This was kind of like a soft lower high here. But if we were to go 2 down tomorrow, this would lock this in as a concrete lower high. So we want to look at the opposite side of the coin at that point, because that would be at least the start or the very, very beginnings of a downtrend, right? You have to have a lower high first. Now, of course, you need to follow that up with the lower low to really start the downtrend. But at that point, you start looking a little bit more at puts. Doesn't mean you have to jump in them, but you got to look at what you're going to get in that situation. All right, so let's go back to the notes, the hard numbers, and look at what we've got here. Right, so this is for Tuesday, November 4th. There will be 38 trading days left in 2025. The close price on Monday was 48.58, and we had an opening print at 49.49. So that means the week flips green at 49.49 as well as the month. Right, this is the first week of the month. So those two are going to mirror each other. We do know we're still green on the quarter in the year. We've got quite a ways to go to the downside before those would flip red, but we do have that. We do have to take note of that here. Now, the expected move, if you're not familiar with that, check out our weekend video. Again, plus or minus $5.91, giving us a range of 53.69 to 41.87. We're pretty much in the middle of that. So just want to continue to watch with neutrality. Know that the uptrend that we're in, but know the types of weakness that the shorter time frames are starting to show. and just keep track of that. Now we went over, how to play from a scalping perspective at the in the morning. Higher lows at or above opening print getting calls, lower highs at or below opening print getting puts. But from a more intraday perspective, just looking at the 4-hour chart, again, we have that 2-1-2 down. If we go to the downside, triggering at 48.38 with the magnitude of 48.03, so not a lot of magnitude there. That's just 35 cents, but that would then trigger this 1-2 up combo 2 down, which would then have a magnitude of 46.71. So more to play for onto the downside if we can reach this 48.03 level. To the upside, we would have a 2-1-2 up reversal triggering at 49.11 with the magnitude of 50.19, and we went ahead and put an extended target of 50.76 out there as well. If we get past those numbers, we want to look at the triggers and targets we have set up from the day chart perspective. Again, to the downside, triggering at 48.03 and terminating with the magnitude of 46.71. Just mirrors the 1-2 up combo 2 down that would trigger on the 4-hour. So again, another reason why 46.71 is looking like a real good bounce point if we do get some downward action. If we do go past 46.71, we've got our extended targets of 45.95 and 45.13 out there as well. Now to the upside, we wouldn't have any type of reversal, so we'd have a clear entry, but not the most clear exit. The clear entry obviously is 50.19, and then we've got extended targets of 50.76, 51.91, 53.15, and 54.42 if we really want to start running. Okay. Now from the week, month, quarter, and year perspective, I won't go back to those charts. We already went over those. Go ahead and hit rewind if you want to look at those charts again. But we haven't triggered anything yet. We're still looking for either going 2 up, 2 down, or continuing this upward trend with the 2 up, 2 up. The 2 up, 2 down doesn't trigger until 45.14, but it does have a nice magnitude of 35.97. We put some extended targets out there as well in case things really start to drop out, but 35.97 would be a pretty good move for the week. Again, to the upside, would just be continuation of the upward trend we're in, 2 up, 2 up, triggering at 50.76, and we've got our extended targets here, right? For the month, it is a new month, so we're waiting for something to trigger. We're inside still. We haven't triggered to the upside or downside. So if we do trigger to the downside, it is a 2 up, 2 down at 33.98. So quite a ways to go before that would trigger, and it would have a target of 28.93, but a magnitude of 23.80. All right. For the upside, it would just be a 2 up, 2 up continuation, triggering at 50.76. With extended targets of 54.42, 56.92, 59.30, and so on in case we really start running again. The quarter, nothing's changed. We're still in this 1, 2 up, 2 down as long as we're above 36.15. Looking to take out 51.91 and 54.42 next. And then we've got the extended targets because the magnitude, of course, is all the way up here at 70.08. And on the year, again, we did trigger the 1, 2 up, 2 down. We were able to make a higher low, create a green hammer. So no longer really looking to reach that magnitude of 621 anymore. Just wanting to continue to press those highs into the end of the year, giving us the best possible chance of going 2 up next year to trigger the 2 down, 2 up, and look for that 70.08. All right. So there you have it. Kind of an uneventful Monday from an intraday perspective. A little bit to be had at the beginning of the day, but not much else afterwards. So I'm going to continue to chug along, and some of these triggers and targets didn't even change from Monday's video. But we'll continue to take things in stride as they come. We've got our triggers and targets on all time frames, so we know what we can do, what we should do, and just need to follow our rules, right? So hope everybody's enjoyed this video. If so, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Again, it really helps the channel grow. We can just continue to grow, and we continue to be amazed because it's a good feeling that things are resonating with people, and not only resonating but having good effects, right? So we're getting messages about people doing well out there in the market with these strategies. So just want to continue to wish success to those out there using the strategies that we talk about. And SOXL is again just another great trader from an options perspective. So just continue to follow the rules and stay true to what you believe in trading SOXL, and continue to profit through the rest of the year. if anybody has any questions, make sure to let us know in the comments. We've answered a few over the last week. There have been some pretty good questions, so keep those coming in if you have them. If you're seeing anything on the charts that we're not seeing, let us know as well. We always like to get other people's opinions, and the best thing you can do is play devil's advocate to your position and see where your weaknesses are. So we'd love to see those. But anyways, if you're watching this Monday night, make sure you get you some good rest. If you're watching this Tuesday morning, I hope you got some good rest, and we're all refreshed and ready for another great day of trading.